Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is video number 111 of Small Engines Questions and Answers. And welcome back everybody. I also want to welcome all my new subscribers as well. As you guys know, it's the fall here in Canada, so pretty soon it's going to start snowing here. So you're going to be seeing a lot more videos on snowblowers soon and different things like that. It feels kind of weird being part of an online community because you know that people in Australia are just getting into summer and getting their lawnmowers out. But you guys can go to my channel and put some keywords in the search box for lawnmower repair videos. So I'm going to get right into the first question, and this question today is from Randy, and he's asking me what's the best way to clean carbon from the top of your piston and blow-by that's formed on the side of it. Well, here's an example. Here's a piston with some carbon on top and a bit of blow-by on the sides, right on top here. I'm not talking about this. This is scoring. It's a different matter altogether. But today I'll be talking about the carbon and the blow-by over here. So what I use to clean the carbon from the top is a soft wire brush, preferably a brass one. Do not use the brush to clean the sides of the piston though, because you could permanently scratch it and damage it. And for the sides, what I use is a Scotch-Brite roll-lock pad that goes on a die grinder. Now this Scotch-Brite pad doesn't do any damage. It brings everything back smooth. It cleans it off as well. So it's the perfect thing to use where you do not want to cause the slightest damage at all to your parts. Now if you don't have that tool I showed you, you can always use some engine cleaner, spray it, and then use an older toothbrush to just scrape it off. A toothbrush works really good because it's very soft. It doesn't cause any damage at all. It's really good on the side over here, especially to clean in between the grooves for the rings here. But make sure to spray some engine cleaner and follow the directions on the can first before you do this. Now if you have an ultrasonic cleaner in your shop or your garage, you could use it to clean your parts. It does an excellent job, especially for cleaning carburetors and different parts that really need a good cleaning. In my next question today, a YouTuber asked me, is the only way to drain the oil out of a Honda lawnmower engine through the dipstick tube? Well, the answer to that is yes. As you know, I posted a video last week showing how I removed the oil from a Honda lawnmower engine. I'm going to post a link to that video so you can go watch it. However, some older lawnmower engines did have a small drain plug at the bottom of the fill tube, but it makes a big mess. So the best way to get the oil out is through the oil fill tube. Another question I got the other day is, I have a 20 horsepower Kohler engine on a lawn tractor, but the engine oil keeps getting filled up with gas. What's causing this? Well, what's more than likely causing this problem is that the needle valve and the seat in the carburetor need to be replaced. For example, here I have a needle valve and a seat for a carburetor that goes on a Briggs engine on the lawn tractor. And here's the needle valve over here. And here's the seat. As you know, on a lot of Briggs & Stratton single-cylinder engines, the same problem does happen where a lot of gas gets into the oil pan. So therefore the oil is mixed with gas and it causes a big problem for your engine. So even though the parts will look different on your Kohler engine, it's the same principle. You need to go buy the needle valve and the seat and replace them. It's pretty easy. Sometimes the instructions come with the needle valve and seat, but sometimes they don't. You can always buy an online manual on eBay and that will show you how to do it. A common symptom of your crankcase getting filled with gas is that your engine will be hydrolocked. It will be very hard to turn over and it's going to be flooded. When you take the spark plug out, it's going to be wet. When you turn the engine over without the spark plug, gas is going to spray out of the spark plug hole. You have to be very careful if you do this, because if the spark plug and the wire are near the mist of gas coming out of the spark plug hole, you could ignite an inferno. So just be careful doing this. Another option you have in the meantime is to install an inline fuel cutoff valve. So when your tractor's sitting, the carburetor is not going to let gas go into the engine. But again, the ultimate repair would be to replace the needle valve and a seat in the carburetor. Somebody asked me the other day, why is it important to clean the inside of your chainsaw when you're working on it? This saw here, for example, was full of sawdust all in here on the flywheel, on the cylinder over here. It was really bad. The owner never cleaned it out, probably since he had it. So the answer to my question is you should clean it really clean like this, because if you don't, your engine does not cool itself properly. It may overheat and you could burn out the engine because it's not cooling itself the way it should. A good way to do this is with a blowgun. Make sure to wear safety glasses though when you do this, because the particles do fly all over and could get in your eyes. And you can also partly submerge it in your parts cleaner, like just a little bit, and use a paintbrush with the cleaning fluid and just brush it off as well. And what you can't get off with the brush, you can always use the air blow gun again to just finally clean it all real good. And also make sure to clean inside the recoil, because the flywheel does suck in air through the fins on the recoil cover over here. And if you look after your stuff like that, it's going to last a lot longer. Somebody asked me the other day, how can I clean the rust off from this gas tank here that goes on the lawnmower engine? Well, I've heard of people putting gravel in there, shaking the tank, then emptying it out and rinsing it, and that dislodged a lot of the rust out. I've heard of some people using muriatic acid. If you do use acid in there, make sure the carburetor is off of the fuel tank, because you could damage the carburetor and the tube that goes in the tank. I've never had good experience clearing out rust from a fuel tank like this, especially when it's coated. I've done okay when there's been a little bit of rust to get it out permanently, but when it's really caked on, the rust seems to come back even though I've taken some of it out. So the ultimate repair would be to just get another gas tank, get a used one or new one. There's usually tons of them floating around. If you go to a small engine shop, they should have a used one that you can get fairly cheap. So what I'm going to ask you guys today is to post your comments to tell us your experience with clearing out rust from these gas tanks and making sure the rust does not come back. In my next question, a YouTuber told me he's got a lawn tractor, and when he disengages the mowing blades, they keep spinning for a while. He's wondering, why is that? Well, I'm just going to show you on my lawn tractor what could be causing that. Well, for example, if you look underneath a lawn tractor near the spindle pulley, you're going to see a lever like this. And it's got a bit of brake pad on it. Well, this part here acts as a brake. When you disengage the blades, it will come back like this. And this prevents the pulley from continuing to turn. It's a safety device. So when you disengage your blades, if they keep spinning for a while, it could be that the brake pad here on your brake is worn out. And there's going to be a brake system like this on each spindle of your deck. Usually you have 2 spindles, so make sure to replace both at the same time. And before I end off the video today, I'm just going to give you a few little quick tips as to how to put away your outboard motors for the winter. When it comes to little engines like this, you'd want to make sure it's been tipped and so forth to make sure all the water has come out from inside the tubes of the motor. It would be good in the fall to replace the lower unit oil in case there's water in it. If you have water and you put it away, it could crack your lower unit. So always change the oil in the fall, then you know you have clean oil in there without any water in it. On this Mercury over here, there's a drain plug over here. I can unscrew this, and if there's a bit of water in the engine, it will come out. Usually the water does come out by itself. I've never had a problem with it. It just drains on its own, and that's it. And to prevent rust in the cylinders, you can always spray some engine storage spray like this, or some engine fogger in the spark plug holes. Take the plugs out, spray it in, turn the engine a bit, and then put the plugs back in. Don't start the engine after that though. And you can always drain all the fuel from inside the carburetor, run it till it dies, then you know it's burnt up all the fuel that's in the carburetor. But do this before you fog up the engine and so forth. So these are just a few tips. Eventually I will make a video to show how to put them away properly. So that's it for today's Q&A, guys. Thanks for taking the time today to come watch my video. I really appreciate it. Hopefully it's helping you in your small engine endeavors. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.